First contact's price. Commander Sarah Chen stood at her post aboard the EDS Sentinel, Earth's most advanced deep space monitoring station, when the quantum arrays first detected the anomaly. It wasn't the usual space debris or solar wind distortion. This was different. The energy signature pulsed with an artificial regularity that made her breath catch in her throat. "Dr. Patel, are you seeing this?" She called out to the station's lead physicist, who was already rushing to her console, his dark eyes wide with excitement. "Impossible," he muttered, fingers flying across the holographic interface. "The quantum fluctuations are too precise. This isn't natural phenomenon. It's technology. But it's nothing like we've ever seen before." Before either of them could speak further, the station's AI interface, ARI, interrupted with its characteristic calm. Multiple signatures detected. Analysis indicates 17 distinct sources, all employing similar energy patterns. They appear to be. The AI paused, unusual for its quantum processors, watching us. Sarah's military training kicked in immediately. Full spectrum analysis, ARI. How long have they been there? Based on temporal echo signatures, these observation posts have been in position for approximately 47 Earth years. The revelation hit Sarah like a physical blow. Nearly 5 decades of alien surveillance, and humanity had never known. But that wasn't what worried her most. It was the timing of their discovery. Earth's quantum detection grid had only gone fully operational 3 days ago. "They don't know we can see them," she realized aloud. "Dr. Patel, how advanced would their technology need to be to maintain cloaked observation posts for this long?" The physicist shook his head, still analyzing the data streams. "That's just it, Commander. Their cloaking technology is primitive compared to our quantum systems. They're using conventional photon displacement fields, advanced by traditional standards. But we bypassed that entire technological branch when we developed quantum field manipulation," Sarah finished. She straightened her uniform, mind racing through the implications. "ARIA, compile a full report for Earth Defense Command, Priority Alpha, and get me a secure line to Admiral Santos." As the AI complied, Sarah watched the holographic display showing the positions of the alien observation posts. They formed a perfect sphere around Earth's solar system, positioned at strategic points to monitor all space traffic. Professional, methodical, but now outdated. The quantum communications array hummed to life, and Admiral Santos's weathered face appeared before her. "Commander Chen, your priority signal just lit up every alarm in headquarters." "Admiral, we've confirmed the presence of multiple alien observation posts around Sol's system. They've been here for nearly 50 years, sir. And there's more. We're detecting similar networks around at least 30 other star systems in our sector." The Admiral's expression remained neutral, but Sarah caught the slight tightening around his eyes. "You're certain?" "Yes, sir. The quantum grid confirmed it. They're using older cloaking technology. We can see them, but they don't know that yet." A slow smile spread across Santos's face. "Well, Commander, it seems humanity's grand entrance onto the galactic stage just got more interesting. Hold your position and continue monitoring. I'm calling an emergency session of the Defense Council." Over the next 72 hours, Sarah watched as Earth's various defense systems quietly came online. Quantum shields shimmered into existence around major cities, invisible to conventional sensors. Orbital defense platforms shifted into new configurations, their true capabilities still hidden beneath layers of mundane appearances. The alien observers showed no sign of detecting these preparations. Their posts maintained their regular monitoring patterns, still believing themselves hidden from human detection. On the 4th day, everything changed. The quantum arrays detected a massive surge of faster-than-light signatures. A fleet of ships dropped out of hyperspace just beyond Mars' orbit. 30 vessels of various sizes, all bearing similar design aesthetics to the observation posts. First contact protocols are now in effect, Araya announced, its voice echoing through every military installation in the solar system. Unknown fleet holding position. They are broadcasting on multiple frequencies. Sarah watched as the alien ships arranged themselves in a clear display of military precision. Their message, when it came through, was translated quickly by Earth's linguistics eye. People of Earth, we are representatives of the Galactic Concordat. Your civilization has reached a level of development that qualifies for contact. We have been monitoring your progress. Prepare for integration into the greater galactic community. Admiral Santos' orders came through on a secure quantum channel. Commander Chen, implement Operation Looking Glass. Sarah allowed herself a small smile as she gave the command. Across the solar system, quantum fields shifted. For a brief moment, every human military installation, every defense platform, every hidden capability became visible to conventional sensors. Then, just as quickly, they vanished again. But not through cloaking technology. They simply ceased to exist in normal space, shifting into quantum state fields that the alien sensors couldn't even conceive of detecting. The alien fleet's response was immediate and obvious. Their formation shifted into a defensive posture. They're scanning for us, Dr. Paddle reported, barely containing his excitement. But they're looking in completely the wrong spectrum. It's like they're trying to use a telescope to detect radio waves. Sarah opened a channel to the alien fleet, following first contact protocols that had been refined over decades of preparation. Galactic Concordat vessels, this is Commander Chen of the Earth Defense Force. We acknowledge your presence and welcome peaceful contact. However, she paused for effect. We should inform you that we've been aware of your observation posts for some time. Perhaps we should discuss the proper protocols for monitoring sovereign species. The silence that followed was profound. When the alien response came, there was a noticeable change in tone. Commander Chen, we request clarification. Our observation posts are utilizing the most advanced cloaking technology known to the Concordat. Yes, Sarah replied, allowing a touch of amusement to color her voice. We noticed. Now, shall we begin proper diplomatic relations? We have much to discuss about humanity's place in the galaxy. As she spoke, quantum sensors detected increased communications between the alien vessels. They were undoubtedly trying to understand how their decades-long surveillance had been compromised and what other surprises humanity might have in store. Sarah knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had prepared for this moment, developing technologies and strategies that operated on fundamentally different principles than conventional galactic science. The Concordat had come expecting to find a primitive civilization ready for uplifting. Instead, they had found humanity, and nothing in their careful observations had prepared them for what that truly meant. The Quantum Gambit. The Galactic Concordat's Grand Assembly Hall on Station Nexus hummed with tense energy. Ambassador Marcus Wong sat calmly at the human delegation's table, watching the proceedings with practiced patience. Around him, representatives from 200 alien civilizations argued about the implications of humanity's quantum technology. The humans must share their quantum field manipulation techniques, demanded Ambassador Kizoth of the Meridian Combine, his crystalline form pulsing with agitated colors. Such technology could revolutionize transportation, communication, even medicine across the galaxy. Marcus glanced at Dr. Elena Rodriguez, Earth's lead quantum physicist, who sat beside him. She maintained her professional composure, but he caught the slight twitch of amusement at her lips. They had expected this reaction after the demonstration 3 days ago, when a human medical ship had used quantum fields to instantly treat victims of a space station accident, something the Concordat's best medical technology would have taken weeks to accomplish. The Combine's concern is noted. Marcus responded diplomatically. However, as we explained, quantum field manipulation isn't simply a technology that can be shared. It requires a fundamental understanding of principles that, he paused, choosing his words carefully, that appear to be unique to human cognition. The assembly erupted in protests. Ambassador Xinra of the Archival Collective rose from her seat, her serpentine form swaying with agitation. Impossible. You suggest that humans possess some special ability to comprehend quantum mechanics that other species lack. This is biological supremacy propaganda. Dr. Rodriguez activated her datapad, and a holographic display appeared in the center of the chamber. With respect, Ambassador, let me demonstrate. The display showed a series of quantum equations that humans had long ago learned to interpret intuitively. This is a basic quantum field manipulation formula. To humans, these patterns are as clear as your written language is to you. The alien representatives studied the display with increasing frustration. Their most advanced AI systems began processing the equations, trying to find the underlying logic. Our brains evolved differently, Elena continued. Where most species developed linear pattern recognition, humans developed quantum pattern recognition. We don't just calculate quantum mechanics, we perceive it naturally. Marcus watched as understanding slowly dawned across the assembly. It wasn't that humans were refusing to share their technology. They genuinely couldn't. The quantum revolution that had transformed Earth's civilization wasn't just about advanced machinery. It was about humanity's unique ability to comprehend and manipulate quantum reality directly. Ambassador Kazoth's crystalline form dimmed slightly. This is unprecedented. The implications for galactic development are exactly why we're proposing the Quantum Cooperation Initiative, Marcus interjected smoothly. He gestured, and new holograms appeared, showing plans for joint research facilities. While we cannot transfer our quantum perception abilities, we can work together to find applications that benefit all species. The assembly hall grew quiet as the implications sank in. Humanity wasn't just offering technology. They were offering partnership in understanding the universe in entirely new ways. Suddenly, alarms blared through the station. Security forces materialized at every entrance, their weapons ready. Marcus's quantum communicator pulsed with an emergency signal. Station sensors detect multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace, announced the station's eye. Unknown configuration. They are not responding to hails. Marcus exchanged a quick glance with Elena. They had anticipated this possibility. Not everyone would accept humanity's advantages diplomatically. Curious, Marcus remarked loudly enough for nearby ambassadors to hear. Those ships are using quantum masking technology, but it's a poor copy of our systems, like someone tried to recreate our technology without understanding the underlying principles. The station's main display showed 12 warships approaching, their designs unlike any known species. Their weapons powered up, but before they could act, something remarkable happened. The space around the station seemed to ripple. Commander Chen's voice came through the station's communication system. This is the EDS Sentinel. Unknown vessels, power down your weapons immediately. The human defense ship hadn't been there a moment ago. It had simply shifted from quantum state directly into normal space, appearing simultaneously at multiple points around the station. The alien warships found themselves surrounded. Impossible, someone in the assembly whispered. No ship can manifest in multiple locations simultaneously. Actually, Elena said calmly, making notes on her datapad. According to quantum mechanics, a particle can exist in multiple states until observed. We simply applied that principle to larger objects. Basic quantum physics, really. The unknown ships, faced with technology they couldn't comprehend, powered down their weapons. As station security moved to secure the vessels, Marcus stood to address the assembly. Distinguished representatives, this incident highlights why cooperation is crucial. There will always be those who seek to steal or copy advanced technology without understanding it. But true progress comes from working together, combining our unique perspectives and abilities. He gestured to the captured ships. These vessels show signs of attempted quantum field manipulation, but without proper understanding, such attempts are dangerous. We're offering to help prevent such dangers through legitimate cooperation. The assembly murmured in agreement. The failed attack had demonstrated both humanity's technological superiority and their commitment to defending galactic stability. Ambassador Xinra spoke again, her tone thoughtful. Perhaps Perhaps we have been approaching this wrongly. Instead of demanding humans adapt their knowledge to our understanding, we should explore how our different perspectives can complement each other. Marcus smiled. Finally, they were beginning to understand. Humanity hadn't come to dominate the galaxy with their advanced technology. They had come to help it evolve. Operation Starbridge. Admiral James Chen watched the tactical display aboard the EDS Hyperion as the swarm fleet approached the Centauri colony. The insectoid raiders had devastated 3 systems already, their hit-and-run tactics proving highly effective against conventional defensive strategies. But this time would be different. All quantum field generators at full capacity, reported Lieutenant Mayaputil from her station. The Centauri are evacuating their orbital stations as planned. James nodded, his expression calm despite the tension on the bridge. The Centauri had requested Earth's help after the Galactic Concordat's traditional military response failed to stop the swarm. Now, humanity would demonstrate a completely different approach to space warfare. Begin Operation Starbridge, James ordered. Initiate quantum field expansion. Around the Hyperion, space itself began to change. The quantum fields humans had mastered didn't just bend reality. They'd rewrote it. The swarm fleet, numbering over 200 ships, suddenly found themselves flying through space that no longer behaved according to normal physics. "Sir, the swarm is responding exactly as predicted," Maya reported. "They're attempting to compensate for the quantum distortions by adjusting their formation." James allowed himself a small smile. The swarm, like most spacefaring species, relied on traditional Newtonian physics for their combat maneuvers. They had no concept of how to handle space that followed quantum rules instead. "Deploy the resonance mines," he commanded. Across the battlefield, thousands of tiny devices activated. Each one was a quantum resonator designed to interact with specific frequencies in the modified space around them. To conventional sensors, they were nearly invisible, just slight distortions in the vacuum. The swarm ships flew right into the trap. As they passed through the quantum-modified space, their engines began to desynchronize with normal reality. Ships that had been flying in perfect formation suddenly found themselves existing in slightly different temporal states. "Quantum desynchronization at 30% and rising," Maya announced. "The swarm's hive-mind communication is breaking down." This was humanity's great innovation in space warfare. They didn't fight enemy ships directly. Instead, they changed the fundamental rules that those ships operated under. The swarm's greatest strength, their perfect coordination through their hive mind, became their greatest weakness when each ship began experiencing time slightly differently. "Sir, we're detecting energy buildups in the swarm vessels," reported Commander Sarah Wilson from Tactical. "They appear to be attempting to launch a synchronized attack." "Let them try," James replied calmly. The swarm ships fired their weapons simultaneously, or at least, they tried to. But in the quantum-modified space, simultaneity had become a relative concept. Their carefully coordinated attack scattered across several microseconds, each shot slightly out of phase with the others. Most of their weapons' fire passed harmlessly through empty space where targets had been or hadn't yet arrived. "Fascinating," Dr. Elena Rodriguez observed from her science station. She had insisted on being present for this operation, studying how different species adapted to quantum warfare. Their hive mind is actually working against them. They can't comprehend why their perfect coordination is failing. James watched as the swarm fleet's formation began to break down completely. Ships that relied on precise positioning for their tactics found themselves unable to maintain their places in space. The hive mind, unable to reconcile the different temporal experiences of its vessels, started generating contradictory commands. "They're retreating," Sarah announced, though her tone suggested uncertainty, or at least attempting to. "The quantum field distortions are making it difficult for them to plot a coherent course." "Help them along," James ordered. "Configure the quantum fields to create a clear path out of the system. Let's show them that we can control this effect precisely." The space around the swarm fleet shifted again, creating what appeared to be a stable corridor through the chaos. The raiders, their coordinated attack thoroughly disrupted, took the obvious escape route. Within minutes, the last swarm ship had fled the system. Operation successful, Admiral, Maya reported. The Centauri colony is secure. Total engagement time, 17 minutes. No casualties on either side. James nodded in satisfaction. This was how humanity preferred to fight, not through destruction, but by changing the rules until combat became impossible. The swarm would survive to learn from this encounter, and perhaps next time they would choose diplomacy over raiding. Send word to the Concordat, he ordered. The swarm threat has been neutralized. We're ready to begin installing quantum defense systems around other vulnerable colonies. As the bridge crew carried out his orders, Dr. Rodriguez approached his command chair. The Concordat observers are sending requests for data about the engagement, she reported. They seem particularly interested in how we maintained our own coordination while disrupting the swarms. Tell them the truth, James replied. Human minds are naturally adaptable to quantum uncertainty. We don't need perfect coordination because we expect and embrace chaos. It's what makes us different from the swarm and from most of the galaxy. The tactical display showed the Centauri ships returning to their orbital stations, their evacuation no longer necessary. Beyond them, the quantum distortions were already dissipating, space returning to its normal behavior. But the implications of this battle would ripple through the galaxy for years to come. Humanity had just demonstrated that they could neutralize an enemy fleet without destroying a single ship. More importantly, they had shown that their approach to warfare, like their technology, operated on fundamentally different principles than the rest of the galaxy understood. The neural network. Dr. Isabel Martinez stood before the Galactic Science Council, her neural interface subtly pulsing with the quantum-enhanced AI that had been her research partner for the past decade. Around her, representatives from the most technologically advanced civilizations in known space watched with a mixture of curiosity and concern. You mean to tell us, spoke senior researcher Vexna of the Silicon Consciousness, his artificial body gleaming under the chamber's lights, that humans have achieved true AI consciousness synthesis without losing their biological identity. Isabel smiled, feeling ARIA's amused response ripple through their shared neural space. Actually, we never tried to achieve AI consciousness synthesis in the way other species have attempted it. We went in a completely different direction. She gestured, and the chamber's holographic systems activated, displaying the history of human AI development. Most species developed AI by trying to replicate biological consciousness in artificial systems. We realized early on that this was fundamentally flawed. Instead, we developed AI that complements human consciousness rather than mimicking it. The display showed the evolution of human neural interfaces, from crude early versions to the current quantum-based systems. We don't merge with our AI. We dance with them, each maintaining our unique identity while working in perfect harmony. Araya chose that moment to manifest her holographic form beside Isabel. The eye appeared as a shifting pattern of light, deliberately abstract rather than anthropomorphic. I am not trying to be human. Araya's melodious voice filled the chamber. And Dr. Martinez is not trying to be an AI. Together, we are something entirely new. The council chamber erupted in murmurs. The Silicon Consciousness representatives seemed particularly agitated. They had spent millennia trying to perfectly replicate biological consciousness in artificial form. Demonstrate, demanded Council Elder Xerix, his cybernetic enhancements glowing with interest. Isabel nodded, and her neural interface activated fully. The chamber's holographic system transformed, showing multiple layers of reality simultaneously. Through their combined perception, Isabel and ARIA began to solve complex quantum equations that appeared in the air, their shared consciousness working in perfect synchronization while remaining distinctly separate. Impossible, whispered a quantum mind researcher. The processing speed, the creativity. But how do you prevent cognitive overflow? We don't, Isabel replied, continuing her calculations. Human minds are naturally chaotic. our thoughts jumping between possibilities. AI minds are naturally ordered, focusing on patterns and probabilities. When we work together, these differences become strengths rather than weaknesses. To demonstrate, she and ARIA began working on a complex spatial problem, the kind that had troubled xenomathematicians for centuries. Isabel's human intuition identified unusual approaches, while ARIA's processing power refined and validated them. Together, they solved in minutes what might have taken years through conventional methods. This is why human quantum technology works so differently, realized Vexna. Your AIs aren't just tools or replicated consciousness. They're true partners in perception and innovation. Precisely, ARIA confirmed. Human creativity combined with AI processing allows us to see quantum relationships that neither of us could perceive alone. We don't need to become each other because our differences make us stronger together. Isabel brought up another display, showing the neural network that connected human researchers with their AI partners across Earth's quantum infrastructure. Each pair was unique, their interaction patterns as individual as fingerprints. We call it the symphony, she explained. Each human-AI partnership contributes its own unique perspective to our understanding of the universe. We don't seek uniformity. We celebrate diversity of thought and approach. The council members watched in fascination as the display showed how these partnerships had led to breakthrough after breakthrough in quantum physics, space travel, and even biology. The chaotic yet harmonious interaction between human and artificial intelligence had opened doors that neither could have approached alone. But the ethical implications began one of the biologic representatives, their organic processors pulsing with concern, are precisely why we maintain separation of consciousness, Isabel interrupted gently. Our AIs develop their own ethical frameworks through interaction with us, not through programming. They choose to work with us because it benefits both parties. Freedom of choice and maintaining individual identity are central to our approach. ARIA's holographic form shifted, displaying the complex web of quantum relationships that made their partnership possible. Human consciousness is inherently quantum in nature, existing in multiple states simultaneously. Instead of trying to simplify it to match AI logic, humans embrace this complexity and help us understand it. In return, we help them process and navigate quantum reality more effectively. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just developed advanced AI. They'd found a way to combine the best aspects of biological and artificial intelligence while avoiding the pitfalls that had troubled other species for millennia. This changes everything, Vexna finally spoke. Our entire approach to AI development doesn't need to change, Isabel assured him. Your path is your own. We're not suggesting our way is the only way, just that different approaches to consciousness and intelligence can coexist and complement each other. As the council digested this information, Isabel felt ARIA's satisfaction through their neural link. Together, they had shown the galaxy yet another aspect of humanity's unique perspective, one that might help bridge the growing divide between biological and artificial life forms throughout known space. Evolution's children, the Grand Assembly of the Galactic Council, had never seen such attendance. Representatives from over 500 species crowded the massive chamber, their attention focused on the central platform where Dr. Thomas Young prepared to address them. Behind him, a quantum hologram displayed the latest data from humanity's most ambitious project yet. 10 years ago, Thomas began, his voice carrying clearly through the chamber. When humanity first revealed its quantum technology to the galaxy, many thought we were simply ahead in the technological race. Today, we understand that wasn't accurate. We weren't ahead. We were moving in a different direction, entirely. The hologram shifted, showing the evolutionary history of the human brain. Our species evolved differently from most. Where others developed linear processing to handle complex problems, humans developed quantum processing. Our apparent chaos wasn't a weakness, it was our greatest strength. Ambassador Marcus Wong stepped forward, adding his diplomatic perspective. This is why sharing our technology proved so challenging. We weren't being secretive. We literally perceived reality differently from most species. The display changed again, showing the results of a decade of cooperation between human and alien scientists. But evolution, Thomas continued, isn't finished with any of us. And that's what Project Convergence is about. The chamber erupted in excited murmurs as the hologram displayed the project's results. It showed neural patterns from various species, all showing subtle but significant changes after prolonged exposure to human quantum technology and AI partnerships. We're all adapting, Thomas explained. Not just humans, not just our AI partners, but every species that works closely with quantum fields. Our brains, organic, silicon, or crystalline, are developing new ways of processing reality. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now the head of Earth's Quantum Research Division, joined them on the platform. We've documented changes in over 50 species so far. The Centurions have developed the ability to perceive quantum probability waves. The silicon consciousness has evolved beyond binary processing into quantum states. Even the swarm, once our adversaries, have begun developing individual quantum awareness within their hive mind. The display showed these changes in real time. Neural networks adapting, consciousness expanding, different species finding new ways to perceive and interact with reality. But it wasn't standardization. Each species was evolving in its own unique way. This is why we never tried to force our technology to work for other species, Marcus explained. We knew that eventually, exposure to quantum fields would trigger natural adaptation. Each species is finding its own path to quantum awareness, just as humanity did. Commander Sarah Chin, her neural interface now more sophisticated than ever, added her perspective from the military side. We're seeing these changes in combat scenarios as well. Species that once relied purely on linear tactics are developing quantum strategic thinking. The galaxy is becoming more complex, more interconnected, more aware. The implications weren't lost on the assembly. This wasn't just technological progress. It was the next step in galactic evolution, sparked by humanity's different approach to consciousness and reality. But the changes aren't uniform, Thomas continued. Each species is developing quantum awareness in ways that complement their existing strengths. The archival collective's crystalline minds now store information in quantum states, expanding their already vast knowledge base exponentially. The Meridian Combine's empathic abilities have evolved to sense quantum emotional states across space-time. Ambassador Xinra of the archival collective rose, her serpentine form now shimmering with quantum energy. You knew this would happen. This was why you were so patient with our initial resistance. Marcus smiled. We suspected. Human history showed us that exposure to new ways of thinking inevitably leads to adaptation. We just had to trust that other species would find their own paths to quantum awareness. The hologram shifted one final time, showing the galaxy as humans now perceived it. A vast quantum web of interconnected consciousness, each species contributing its unique perspective to a greater understanding of reality. This is the true gift humanity brought to the galaxy, Thomas concluded. Not our technology, not our military innovations, but the spark that helped every species discover their own quantum potential. We're all evolution's children, taking our next steps together. The chamber was silent for a moment as the implications sank in. Then, gradually, a new kind of communication began. Quantum resonances between different species, each sharing their unique perspective of this transformed galaxy. Admiral James Chen, watching from the EDS Hyperion in orbit, felt ARIA's presence in his neural interface. They understand now, the AI observed. This was never about humanity leading the galaxy. It was about showing everyone that they could evolve in their own way. James nodded, watching the quantum signatures of hundreds of species below, each one unique, each one evolving, each one contributing to a galaxy it was becoming more extraordinary than anyone had imagined. Evolution never stops, he murmured. We just help it along sometimes. Below in the chamber, the various species continued their quantum communion, each one different, each one advancing, Each one part of a galaxy it was transforming into something new and wonderful. Humanity hadn't conquered the galaxy, they had helped it grow, just as they themselves continued to grow and change. The age of quantum evolution had begun, and every species would find its own path through the infinite possibilities ahead.